Hey, how's it going? I'm Greg. I'm the creator of Superhero Coding. And today we are going to continue in our Crossy Road or almost Crossy Road game. Today we're going to change it up. We're going into Blender and we're going to be creating some of the graphics for the game. So far in my one game a month where I live stream one game a month, one stream a week, I have not done graphics beyond simple blocks. And of course, it's ironic that Crossy Road is where I'd say, hey, let's go in a 3D program and make some blocks. But that's okay. It's going to be easy to follow along. You know, I'm not a Blender expert. I'm not an artist, but everything in here is going to be pretty easy to make, pretty easy to follow along. So we're going to build some stuff. And then if there's time in this session, we'll import it into the game. If not, we'll do that next session. So without further delay, and we're just picking up where we left off last time. Like I said in the beginning, I'm streaming, live streaming everything so that you get to see all of it. That's my goal. We don't leave anything out. All right, so let's do this and switch over there. We're going to use the no Greg face in this one. I don't think anybody's going to complain about that because a lot of the Blender stuff happens down here and I don't want to move everything around. So that's fine. You don't need to see my face. You just did. So if this is your first time, this is basically what we've built so far. You can get the code for this at superherocoding.com. And the first session is always free, and there's a minimal cost for the other sessions. If you want my art and code, you are always free to just follow along and do what I do, and that's not a problem at all. So yeah, this time we're going to work on some graphics, just change it up a little bit. Next time we'll do some collision, some score, some of that kind of stuff. But for now, we're going to go ahead and switch into Blender. Now, I am using an older version of Blender. I'm using, not sure where the About screen is. I'm using Blender 3.6 because, well, this is the version that I have installed. I have not played with Blender 4 yet. There was a splash screen in here somewhere. I guess not. That's okay. I'm using 3.6. Everything in 4 is going to be very, very similar. And I'll try to dictate what I'm doing while I'm doing it. So looking at my selection of screenshots. So these are screenshots that I took from my phone playing the game. This is kind of what we're going for. Now, they use a specific art style called voxels. Voxels are lots of little boxes, except it's optimized. If this whole scene in Unity was made up of boxes, the game wouldn't move. But voxels are a way where you can set things up that look like boxes, but vertex colors and different things, so it's not like 8 gajillion little boxes and colliders. Solidifies them, basically. But the art style is simple. We've already got sort of some lanes and some trees. I want to just get some kind of car kind of thing going on. And these are pretty simple. If I just take, like these orange and purple ones and something like that, even just something that simple, I think will, or we could do the big truck. Any of that is going to be really easy. Famous last words. Again, not an artist, but we're gonna see. We're gonna do our best. All right. Am I actually showing the right thing? Yes, sort of. Yeah. Okay. Yep. There. No. Yeah. Don't need that. All right. Cool. That's what we want. Full screen. All right. So, based off of these photos, I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to eyeball everything. I'm going to make a car like this. I'm just going to start. This is the default. When you get a new Blender scene, you generally start with cube, camera, light. I'm going to hold my middle mouse button down to rotate things around a little bit. switch here, grab this. I'm going to click this to switch to faces. Grab that. G to grab. And then I want to do X to extrude along the X axis. That. I want to take this top part, G, and then Z to move it down a little bit. And that's just G to grab the face, and Z to move down. And I am in edit mode. You see the outline around the whole object. You want to hit Tab to get into edit mode. And so something like that. There's another box up here on top. Little thing on the side. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Just like programming, there's a lot of ways to approach just about anything. The easiest way, I mean, I'm probably just going to make like the body, this thing on top, maybe these wheels. Does not have to be super fancy. Yeah, I'm just going to grab that, Control C, Control V. I'm going to hit S to scale it down a little bit, and then GZ to grab and move it up on the Z axis. I'm kind of going for one of these. So that's not really. So I think that needs to be. Just hit Tab, go into edit mode. GZ up a little bit, and then I'll grab that and GX to move that back a little bit more. It's better. Might tab out of edit mode, grab the whole thing and just scale it just a little bit. GZ to move up just a little. That's looking not bad, not bad. All right, so we've got that. I'm going to Shift A to add a cube, and I'm going to S to scale it down, G, Y to move it out because RGB is X, Y, Z. Axes up there. And I'm going to move over, I'm going to hit 1 on my number pad to just kind of move over to the side view. G, Z to grab it, move it down. And I'm just freestyling at this point. If you just hit G and move, it's fine. Control C, Control V, G, and then X, like that. Grab, Shift click to also grab, G, Y to move in. This isn't going to be exact, but it'll be close enough. And then Control C, Control V, G, Y to move other side. Want to get those even-ish. And it's not bad. I could make a little thing in the middle. All right, I'm going to grab this one, copy and paste, grab, move it up. G, Y. And there is a mirror thing that you could use. If I was better at Blender, I would delete half of this and mirror it and all that, but I'm just trying to do something real simple. S to scale it down, go to the top view with 7, out, scale it up a little bit, and S, and then X to scale out a little bit, and then G and then X to move it up a little bit. So kind of like that. That's looking pretty good, pretty good. And then I want to copy paste G, and then I want to move it Y onto the other side. Just hit 7 to go into the top view again to see if it's correct. That's actually not bad. I'm probably not going to go all this fancy stuff in the middle. Could do more. I think that's fine. I think these are a little bit wider. What I'm looking at is fine. So, and I'm probably just going to apply textures inside of Blender. I mean, inside of Unity. So don't need to do that here. They've got like a longer one, a shorter one. I think what we've got is fine. I can change the colors in Unity. Let's see. So now, if I take this, if I save this, we're going to go into, let's see. Let's just do this. This is my screenshots. And I want to save as. Let's drop that there. And I don't want it in the screenshots. I'm going to make a folder here, a new folder called 3D. There, and call it purple and orange car. And just save the blend file right in there. Now, this is really not optimized at all. It's a bunch of stuff, camera and a light that it doesn't need. These should probably all be parented. They're not, like in the middle or anything. It's kind of terrible. I'm gonna at least move it centered. Just hit 7 and then 1 and then do it like that so that it'll be centered at least a little bit better. So that's a good start. From there, I could take it and do some of these other things. Like there's a black Humvee type thing, taxi. This will make that. So very similar. Got a couple extra little pieces here. So I copy and paste that, scale it down with S, move over to 1 to the side view, and just move it up like that. Middle mouse to kind of look and see. It's not bad. Be a little bit bigger. Something more like that. That works. This little thing on the top that looks like it's a taxi thing. Hit 7 to go to the top view again. Scale that down. Hit S and then Y to scale it that way. S and then X to scale it that way. Freehand move it with G. And I'm going to go back to 1. And GZ to move it up. And S and Z to scale it in the Z direction. Down a little bit. There we go. Not bad. It's a little bit longer, but it's fine. I'm aiming for vaguely, not perfection. It's like a station wagon. It's a little longer in the front. I'm just eyeballing all this. I could make a big truck like that. And there's like a taxi cab that's similar, that's got the thing on the top. So I could do something like that. So that's basically this car. So let's save this as the black Humvee. And then let's do it's a little bit longer. I don't care. It's not important. I don't think I'm gonna make like the logs and the dogs and all that. It's not really the point. The point is to kind of show you that I know it's just going to take 15 minutes to do all that. I could make like a squatty one here. I guess let's do that. So actually, before we do that, let's make a taxi cab. So that's kind of like that. Let's see. That's a little bit forward. So grab both of those. Click and then shift click those up. Got that. And then move this 7 to go back into that view and move it back with G and then scale it along the X axis. It's too much. Back here. That's not bad. Control Shift S. It's going to be a taxi. And I mean, I guess I could do one of these in Okay, I'll go ahead and do the materials. Okay, so we've got one material. We'll call this yellow color. Drag it on. Switch to something where I can actually see the color. So yeah, it's already there. So that's yellow. The top part's yellow. Yellow. And then I want like a black color for the wheels. And we don't actually want black. We just want a darker color. That's fine. And all those wheels. Get the wheel color. Apparently that didn't work. Wheel, you get a wheel color. You get a wheel color. I could do a smaller square just to switch it up. Make the taxi look a little fancy. Look like it actually has windows. I guess I'll do that. So I'm just gonna, again, Control-C, Control-V, scale it down. Go in 1, grab, down, and then I'm gonna hit 7 to go on the top, and I'm gonna hit S and Y to scale in the Y direction, just barely outside of the boundaries of the other. That to be black. And I could, I guess let's move it forward a little bit. Back a little bit. I mean, their art style is really cool. They did a great job with it. I'm just going to continue doing more of this. Scale it a little bit, move it a little bit. Control-C, Control-V, move back a little bit. Scale it in the X a little bit. So, you know, the taxi will be a little more refined than some of the others. That's fine. You know, because all their stuff is literally made with blocks, it's much more even than my just kind of random eyeballing it. But I don't think it's terrible. And their black actually is much closer to an actual black. So we're going to do the same. Just do. Somehow we ended up with a different color for the wheel. All right, those should all be wheel or black. And save again, Control S. So that's probably good. Let's go ahead and bring all that into the game. Got the trees in the game. I don't have train tracks. I could make train tracks. That could be interesting. I have no idea about the scale of any of this. So let's do that. Let's make train tracks that would be similar to where scale that we've got now. That sounds like a good idea. So I'm going to Shift A to make another cube. And I'm going to hit S and Y to scale it down. And then S and X to scale it out a lot. G and Y to move it up, roughly there. G and Y, copy paste. G and Y to move it down. And think about, need to scale those down a little bit. So S and then Z. Go inside. G and Z. And I don't know if it'll be easier to Probably easier to just copy and paste things here. So I'm just going to take that piece right there, copy and paste, move it. I think there's actually a, well, if I was a little better at Blender, this would be a better tutorial, but I'm not. So scale Y here. Grab it and GZ to move down here. And then S and then X to move it out a little bit so it looks like a thing. Give it a new material, new color. It's like brown. There. That. Yeah, these are like a gray, right? Another new material. And it's going to be a gray. So yeah, I'm not a graphic designer, as you clearly know if you're watching this. But I do enjoy working with Blender. Let's see if I can do this right. An array. So I want to move it down the X or the R, the red one. So that, I'm going to fill it up. Let's see, do like 1, nope, 2. That's close. Makes me think that it's a little bit thick. So let's scale with the Y. A little better. Scale on the X again. Crank the factor up a little bit. Just not at all. Something like that. Perfect. All right, now I need to, so my taxi is there. I don't want to, I think I got a screenshot of the train anywhere. Okay, there's much more distance on these between than mine. That's okay. I'm going to leave mine like it is because I like it. That's what's important, right? Actually, it's important that your players like it. But first, you've got to like it. If you don't like your game, nobody else will either. Spoiler alert. All right. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab all the taxi pieces, which I think will be, all right, so those are cubes. These are taxi pieces. Delete. Control Shift S. Train tracks. I intentionally, sort of intentionally, sort of textured one in Blender and textured a couple others not. And we just save those out as blend files, and Unity is going to go in, see them, and recognize them for what they are, and load them in. You can also, if you have issues with that, you can export in a variety of ways. FBX is the most common in games. You've got a lot more options, but the blend file is nice because you can get back into it. Actually, without collapsing this, there's a button over here, apply, that would turn these into actual objects. I'm going to try leaving that like that is. All right. So let's go back over to Unity now. Give that a minute to load in. So even though we created a folder right there by right-clicking in the Blender save window, as long as you're in your assets folder, then everything's good to go. So here's our, look at that. There's our train tracks. There's our taxi. There's our purple and orange car. I don't know what the heck that file is. Oh, blend one. So I'm set up to make a backup. Blender is set, so those are the backups for the individual things. So check this out. So if we have the train tracks here, and let's apply these to our train. Well, first, let's bring this in the scene and figure out how bad the scale is. Actually, not terrible. Not terrible at all. All right. So every one of these, I'm going to have to delete the light and delete the camera. That's okay. I think I could have done that better if I'd planned it. All right. So there's our train tracks. So if I hit play now, there's our train going on the train tracks. That's pretty cool. What if you go, you know what? I think those are too wide. Watch it. Well, we can go back in Blender and we can adjust this. We can adjust it down, adjust it out, and go, you know what? I think this feels much better. This is more like the original game. And I just Control S to save. I come over here. It's going to re-import and bring all those back in instantly. And that's the beauty of, if I just did like 5 of them and I save and I switch back, it detects that the file has changed and it's going to load it back in. And that's the beauty of saving that blend file. And now I can come back over here and I can undo and go, you know what? I kind of like it the way it was originally, and save. And it's going to load all that back up the way it was. Boom, done. So, I think already having the train tracks there just kind of adds a little something to it. That's kind of nice. All right. So let's swap some of these other things for some of these other vehicles. So now I'm thinking I probably should have just textured everything in the game, but that's okay. Let's take this guy, and rather than obstacle number 3, it's going to be a taxi. And so again, gonna have to delete the camera and the light from all of them. But it's basically exactly what I was looking at in Blender. If I save this, go back to my taxi, and I hit 0 to go to the camera. That's pretty much what we were looking at in Blender is what we get over here in Unity. If it wasn't in the floor. So that's a good thing. But we're going to delete the camera, delete the light, and what I can do, I'm gonna make a folder. Actually, make a folder here called prefabs. And what we can do, you say, okay, I got my taxi imported. I got the extra lights and stuff I don't need deleted. I've got it textured or whatever. And you can drag this from your hierarchy into your prefabs folder or anywhere in here, and that will make a prefab. Now I can just drag that out, and I don't have to adjust anything. I don't have to delete the light in the camera. It's good to go. But we're not quite good to go yet. I want this to be where the other one was. So I'm going to make it a child of obstacle 3. And when I do that, the position and everything is going to change because this is the local position. So watch. I get a child of that. Now you've got a local position, you've got a local scale. So that is the position and rotation and scale relative to this object. So if I come here and I 0, 0, 0, then it goes exactly on top of that object. And then I go, oh yeah, okay, well, I might need to scale that down a little bit. If all these are the same size, I guess I've got one that's 4.3 and the rest of these are 2.5. I'm just gonna scale it down a little bit using some Unity shortcuts and look at it from the side and kind of get it where I want it to be. So it's kind of on the ground now. Ish. Perfect. And then, yeah, then from there, yeah, it's fine. From there, I'm going to save out a prefab. So I'm going to delete that. This turned red because it's like, oh, it's a broken prefab. Drag it down, and now it's a new prefab, and it's fine. Now it's squished here, but if I bring this in and say, okay, I want another one right in there, that's perfect. And if I want to bring it, and so let's say I wanna put it somewhere else. I want to put it not as a child of that. It's got the right size on it now. If I just bring one into the main whole project, it's squished. What you can do is come back over here and set your scale to 111. That's kind of where it would have been. And then you can scale down and go, well, yeah, we don't want it quite that big. So it's probably 0.5, 0.5, something like that. It's probably closer to what we actually want. Yeah, actually, looks pretty nice. Might still be a little big. Let's look at the taxi compared to the trees. Taxi, trees. So this one is actually probably going to be a little bit closer to the right size. This is sort of like the squatty blue car. I'm going to delete that. Right. So I've got those. And taxis over here. Now, with this, I've got options. I mean, if I turn this off, it turns everything off and the child objects as well. Turn off the mesh renderer. That's going to remove that blue cube from view. I can turn off the box collider. It's not going to collide with things. Alternatively, I could just take this script and put it on the taxi. For now, I'm going to leave the box collider on. And because all these cubes do not have colliders, and we really don't want all these cubes to have colliders. If you've got 11 colliders in one object and they're all over the scene, it can slow things down. So it's easier to just have one, and then that box collider is what is going to sort of be the focus. I'd have to move it up a little bit or whatever. Well, next session we will deal with collisions. Score, that'll be a good way to wrap it up. But and really probably what I would do is I would take this that is now finished and go, okay, this I've got everything like I want it to be, and I'll call it, moving taxi with collider, and just take that whole thing and drag it into prefabs. So now I've got a whole moving taxi with collider. So now if I just want to drop a new one into the scene, wherever, right here, then it's good to go. Well, it's backwards, but other than that, it's good to go. Apparently, I was not paying attention to what direction they're facing. That's okay. That's easy. Watch this. Blip, 180. Now it's fixed. So, and let me show you this. So, because this is a prefab, we can change the stuff in the scene. Now, what I'm going to do, so it's still tied to that original prefab. And so you can review, revert, or apply the overrides. And I would have thought it would recognize this as an override, but it doesn't. All right, so what I'm gonna do, if I double click, if I double click this, and really I don't even need to do that. If you double click this, you'll open the prefab, and you can, and there you can just do a 180, and then go back to your scene. Oh yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. So if I go in here and I go into my taxi and I do 180, and then I apply that, you see the one up there, it just changed. I back out. So now I've got two of them that are right and one of them that are not, because that's the one I've not edited yet. So I'll probably just delete that and bring in another moving taxi with collider into that row. And I don't know why these taxis are going so slow. They should clearly be a much higher speed. No offense to any taxi drivers watching. So, well, that's not bad. Still seems a little slow, but that's fine. And so I'm actually going to take out the extra obstacle there. So we've got trains, we've got taxis. We've got a few minutes left. All right. So we got our taxis in. We got our train tracks in. We got our train cars, the big black train cars there. It's kind of fun. Let's take the purple and orange car. We're going to bring this in. I think I'm going to set it at a scale of 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, like we did with the others. That seemed to be a pretty good fit. Turn it back on. Delete the camera. Delete the light. Got our purple and orange car, which is neither right now. It's okay. So I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna that again. Let's see. Move it over. Be kind of aligned. And I could actually go in and I guess I can, just to do it, I will basically build the same thing as before. So all this is really, the key is the box collider and the moving obstacle script. If I click these three dots and I copy the component, come over here, because this is a parent object that's got children. Come over here, I paste component as new. It will paste the component, but it will keep all the values of the other one. This little thing right there, that little plus, means that something is different than the stored prefab, which we knew. We're going to add a component. It's going to be a box collider. And then I'm going to F to focus in, and I'm going to move that box collider to be up a little bit. Something like that. I want it to be about the size of the car. Not an exact science. It just needs to be close enough. Just needs to be close enough, and that is close enough. Set that as a trigger because I'll want that later. And then, so this is not currently the override. I can't apply it to an imported model. So, but what I can do, save it to a prefab. Now it's good to go. So still needs some color. So let's fix that. Get these different colors. I don't think I can take the colors from the other one. Yeah, maybe I can. Okay. Drag that wheel color onto all the wheels. All the wheels. It's not happening. I'm going to have to have it in the same place. F to focus. Now I should be able to drag that onto the right wheel. And then I'm going to make a new color. Got some materials already. It's going to be a, oh, it doesn't matter. Car. New material. Come on. Create material. Purple. Drag that onto the base of the car. And window. And the other little one, or side view mirror. Rear view mirror. And then I can change it to be purple. Sort of fits with the rest of them ish, sort of. And it's kind of funky without the white and the black part in there. It's fine though, it really is. I like the way the taxis look though. The taxis look pretty good with the extra little windows in there. And I could, if I wanted to, copy and paste. I'm not going to do that. What I'm trying to show though is So these have a move speed of -9. So they are going to be moving that direction. So I probably need to rotate my car around 380 degrees. And it's got the same script. It'll be doing the same thing. And now it's moving opposite. Of course it is. So, yeah. So if I have a negative, or no, it's moving correctly. I just need to change it so it's not hitting oncoming traffic. So let's move it where that one was. And it's basically just going to take these two out. Turn them off entirely. I can move that up. And duplicate there. So 2 cars. Close. That. And this one back here-ish. So maybe I'll actually want those going the other direction, and I'm going to have to set it to, it'd be nice if I detected which direction or the move speed and rotated it 180 degrees. If I was building this project out much further, I would do that. But I think for what we've got, that's fine. So now I hate the simple blue cubes. So let's take the orange and purple car, duplicate, Control D, move it over here. Definitely going to rotate them. I'm going to give them a different move speed, and all these, so call it orange car. Do that. Here, orange car, here, good, yep. And, all right, so we got those. I'm going to turn these off, and we're going to have some art as soon as I change the purple to orange. So duplicate this, F2 to rename orange. Actually make it orange. Plus, click that. I'm going to stick sort of their color palette again. Not an artist. I like they've got kind of two-tone thing going on there. This is fine. That's fine. There. And side view mirrors as well. So just drag that onto there. Drag that onto there. Shift around by holding down Alt and middle clicking or left clicking. Bring orange onto that. And all right. Let's hit play. Look at that. That is not bad. We went from terrible looking squares and cubes to actually looking, you know, kind of like a game. This looks just super primitive and janky now. But all the cars there in the middle, that's kind of a cool look. Trains go a little fast, but I like it. Yeah. I think we're gonna wrap it up there. As always, you can get the code at superherocoding.com as soon as I get it updated. I hope this has been helpful. I know going away from code, doing Blender is a little different, but I'm hoping this encourages you. The whole series should encourage you that it's not that hard to make a game. It doesn't have to be thousands and thousands of hours. I mean, I'm making one game a month in 4 or 5 hours total, and that's my goal. And to say you can do it with cubes, you can do it with simple cubes in Blender if you want to be fancy about it and don't just want squares. It's acceptable. If you get that, you get a good game, you get people liking it, you like playing it, other people might like playing it. you can find an artist at that point who can come in and go, yeah, we can swap out the cubes. You could do a much better job of what I did in the same amount of time and give you something really nice to look at. So, to wrap it up, I am Greg for Superhero Coding, superherocoding.com, and join us next time as we add collisions and score. I'll catch you later.